Hey guys, so it's gonna be just a little quick, little video here. I'm working on my 81 Kz550 LTD, and I rebuilt the carbs, put them back in, put in some nice new air boots and carb boots from the carb to the air box. It's looking real nice. Went to go give it a spin, and I realized that when I pull the throttle, it doesn't snap back. So I have the throttle cable taken out right now. This is the accelerator throttle cable, and this right here is the decel. So this is what they call a pull cable, and then this is your push cable. Kind of pushes it. I thought maybe it was a spring. The spring, let's see right there, your throttle return spring. Quick way to see if it's your throttle return spring or not. You just take, in my case, just take one of these, and just anything really. You just push down on it. So you see it's pushed down, snaps right back. Push down on it, snaps right back. So you know that it's not the spring and that it's your cables. So I lubed my cables, I set them properly, and it's still doing the same thing. And right now, the previous owner had the cables routed incorrectly, in my opinion. So this is really tight, and I feel like that is the problem that we're having here. As you can see, it actuates properly. So when you pull in a throttle, it does pull back, but I'm going to route these correctly and see if it changes anything. Alright, so good news, it's fixed. Look at that, snaps back perfectly. Now, you might be thinking, what was the issue? Was it the routing? Was it improper adjustment? So right now they're not adjusted, and it's still working fine. Routing, change it a little bit, just so it doesn't snag as much. Kind of have it tucked around up here. Just with the old routing, when you go all the way to the right, it was kind of binding up. Surprisingly, that wasn't the issue. The issue was this thing right here. So as you can tell, this is an aftermarket throttle assembly and an aftermarket grip, aftermarket bars, the whole shebang. Thank you to Loud HVX for kind of resetting my mind. I was so pissed off at this thing last night. Took off all the cables, realized the spring works perfectly fine. It's not that. I took out the decel cable to realize it worked perfectly fine. It wasn't that. Took out the throttle, the accelerator cable, both push and pull cables out. It still worked perfectly fine. Put them back in, it wasn't working. And the reason was because of this thing right here, this small rubber gasket which sat right there. And this is why the previous owner put this on, not me. This is why you shouldn't always run universal parts and try and get guaranteed fitment, because as soon as I took that off, it was binding here. I realized when I took this casing off and held it really loose, just enough so it could still grab onto the cable ends, it was working perfectly fine. Now that the gasket's off, perfect. So that just goes to show that might not always be what it is. And thank you to Loud HVX once again for kind of resetting my mind and just letting me take a step back and kind of slept on it. And there you go. So thank you guys, and hopefully this can help anybody that's experiencing some of the same issues, especially if you're running aftermarket parts.